So you want to grow your own wedding flowers. We'll be the first to say, go for it. We both did it, and we loved it, mostly. Before we share the flowers that we each grew for our weddings, we're just going to share a few of the things that we learned through the experience of growing our own flowers.
The first tip we'd have is that growing your own wedding flowers will save you money, most likely, but it will take a lot of time. And that is definitely something to plan for when you're in the middle of a busy season anyway, planning a wedding. Mm-hmm. Planting and tending the garden will take a fair amount of time, before the wedding. And then the week of the wedding, you'll have harvesting the flowers, arranging them, transporting them to the venue or wherever you're getting married. So I'd say be sure to consider all the logistics, think it through ahead of time.
We've come up with kind of a basic timeline from years of doing weddings that I'll just share that with you here. And this is based on a Saturday wedding. So Monday we would typically kind of organize the place where we're going to do the flowers, just set up the tables, do whatever, clean our vases, make sure everything's washed, ready to go. Tuesday is usually when I had flowers. If I was ordering them in, I had them delivered on Tuesday. But then Tuesday and Wednesday is the days where we did a lot of harvesting, conditioning. Wednesday we also went foraging for the greenery and things. Thursday is the day to do a lot of arrangements. The table bouquets, any larger vases or urns can all be done on Thursday. If you have time, you can do your bridal bouquets then too. If not, I would just do them Friday morning sometime. Boutonnieres and corsages can be done either Thursday or Friday. I would say keep them in the fridge then, or definitely keep them in water. And if you want arches or any kind of big installation, that should probably be done the day of the wedding, especially if it's a summer wedding. And I don't necessarily recommend that you do that. You can get a friend to do that or whatever, but I was planning for an arch and then I just ended up skipping it and it was fine.
I think I had an arch too that I nixed. So another tip would be to choose flowers that you've grown before. Experience is your friend here. Ideally, you'll want to start growing your flowers several years before you need them. So if you're not getting married in the next couple of years, start now. No, just kidding. I don't think either of us would have attempted growing our own wedding flowers if we didn't have years of growing. And I don't think you need 10 years of growing experience, just a year or two, to kind of work out the kinks and know what you like to work with and things like that. If you have time, I recommend you doing a trial run of the flowers that you think you'll want and then going ahead and making bouquets with those flowers.
We would say do a little bit of research to see what are good flowers to grow for cut flowers and also what's good to grow in the season that you're getting married. Don't grow spring flowers for an August wedding. And look for these qualities in the flowers you grow. Easy to grow annuals, cut and come again flowers, which means they bloom repeatedly because it's really hard to time a one and done crop. To bloom right when you need it to. You also want good stem length in your flowers, so don't be growing any dwarf varieties. We've made those mistakes in our gardening before. And obviously choose the colors that go with your color palette.
Right.
If you want a little bit of help in learning how to grow a healthy, productive flower garden for your wedding, we do have a course on how to grow cut flowers. It's available on our website, and I will go ahead and just link it below in the description.
So if you are growing most of your flowers for your wedding, something else you can consider is to buy in some of the harder to grow varieties. If you want, let's say, something that's tougher to grow, you can actually buy that in. A lower stress plan would be to grow the filler for your wedding flowers, forage for the greenery, and then buy in the focal flowers for your arrangements. Filler tends to be a little easier to grow sometimes, depending what it is. Roses are tough to grow, so especially here in Ohio. So LaRonda and I each ordered those in for our wedding. We knew that we probably wouldn't get very nice roses to work with, and we both wanted roses. Other plants that can be tough to start from seed, like lisianthus, snapdragons, and eucalyptus, you might be able to buy as a small plant at a nursery and then just plant it in your garden and have it grow from there. You don't have to start every single flower from seed. You can buy some in and go that route. You can also order flowers from a local flower farm to supplement the flowers that you grow. LaRonda did that, and she bought hers from Sunny Meadow Flower Farm here in Columbus. And she loved them.
They were
the flowers
excellent.
were beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get such good quality from local flowers. Like if I could, I would always get local flowers.
Right.
So having planned a spring wedding, I can confidently tell you that spring flowers are probably the hardest to plan for. Just because like they don't start growing, like they bloom earlier than summer flowers. That's when they like to grow, but they don't start growing until it's warm enough in the spring. So if you have a late winter, that can throw your plan off. And then they also quit blooming when it gets too warm in the summer. So if you have an early summer, that can maybe, take care of some of the flowers you were planning on. So just because they're harder to grow, you need to have a plan B for sure if you're doing a spring wedding. We've always said that if you want peonies for your wedding, plan your wedding for after peony season, not right during or, God forbid, right before. Because peonies are really hard to force. They're not hard to keep in the fridge. And we have a video that shows you how to actually save peonies for several months in the fridge if you want peonies for your wedding. You can have those for a June or July wedding. Many spring flowers are also just one and done. They don't bloom multiple times, and that's why they're so tricky to plan. So definitely have a plan B if you have a spring wedding. But I also think spring flowers are some of the best there are. So if you want to risk it like I did, go for it.
You should also have an overall plan B, whatever season that you're growing in.
Right.
Things will go wrong. Crops will fail or bloom late or early. So it's good to have a backup plan ready. A hailstorm destroyed most of LaRonda's flowers, about 6 weeks, I think, before her wedding. And she ended up having to order most of the flowers in, with the exception of some peonies that we gathered from friends and a few assorted greens and fillers that did make it. So, it's good to have a backup plan in your back pocket ready to go. You can either order backup flowers through a florist, or you can set up an account with like an online floral distributor, Sam's Club or 50 Flowers, and you can also buy from a local flower farm. They often have things last minute, if it truly is a last minute disaster. I would recommend, especially if you're going to have an online account or something, a wholesale account of some sort, as your backup plan, set that up ahead of time. That way you're not scrambling, a week or two before your wedding.
Yeah, for the ones that I ordered in, we had worked with Driesbachs out of Columbus. It's just a local, they actually deliver locally. It's not, like we've also worked with Mayash, and I get my flowers out of Miami, usually if I order them from Mayash. So for my wedding, I ordered flowers through our rep there at Driesbach. But then when we went and picked them up, I just kind of walked through the cooler and picked anything else that I wanted.
Right.
So if you want to get set up with one of those reps, that's a great option for Plan B. You probably have to have a vendor's license to do it.
Right.
So keep that in mind. So if you can't grow your own flowers, but you still want the fresh, local, seasonal flowers, there are a few options for you there too. Like Rosita mentioned, you can go to a local flower farmer. I think their product is usually the best. It's the freshest, it's what's in season. If you're flexible with your colors, that's a good option for you. You can also buy from a local farmer's market. I've heard of somebody who did that. They just went down either the morning of their wedding or the day before, and they had a gorgeous bouquet. But it's a little risky maybe, but I think it's also fun. If you're flexible, you can go do that as well. Just buy the best of what you see and make your own bouquet there. Or you can pay a friend who has gardening experience to grow cut flowers for you. Now, I would just caution to be gracious and generous with that friend if you're going to do that. But that would also maybe be an option. And I'm guessing a lot of moms probably grow flowers for their daughters' weddings, so never mind. I'm not going to say that part.
You could.
Okay.
Don't bite your mom's head off.
Yeah, don't bite your mom's head off. So now for the flowers that we each grew for our weddings. I got married May 22nd because that was peony season, but it was also before hay season, which Myron had to be back in Arkansas for. Barely left us enough time for a honeymoon, but we got her done. I just love spring flowers. I love the flowering branches that are blooming in Ohio in May. I think I wanted more of those than I actually ended up using, but I just wanted juicy spring colors, if that's the word to use. Pinks, yellows, blues, purples, lavenders, whites, whatever. The flowers I ended up using in the wedding, I'm going to get my list right here. So I had peonies, like Rosita mentioned, we collected them from friends and locally there. Very generous people. We had ranunculus from Sunny Meadows, had chamomile, delphinium, larkspur, bells of Ireland, bridal wreath spirea, Chinese blushing lanterns, forsythia for greenery mostly, astilbe, cress, and stock. And that's all I could remember. There's probably a few more that we had. And that was a combination of stuff we grew that we ordered from the flower farm and from Dreesbecks in Columbus.
I got married in August then, and I knew that I wanted it to be pretty easy. I wanted flowers that were easy to grow and would be blooming over a long time, so timing wouldn't be as tricky. You know, LaRonda and I got married, 2.5 months apart? Something like that. And it was probably a little bit of insanity, but yeah, it worked out. I had made a bouquet the year before that I really liked, and so I just went off of that for the colors for our wedding. The flowers that I had in my bouquets were zinnias, blackberries, Jewel of Opar, Rudbeckia, lemon basil, and Genovese basil, strawflower, celosia, phlox, scabiosa, gomphrena, and then I bought in several kinds of roses as well. I remember someone saying that the bouquets smelled good. I'm not quite sure what would have smelled the best. Probably the basil, I'm guessing. So that's a little
Lemon
trick
basil.
too. It's not overwhelming, but if you brush against it or are near it, you can get this whiff of the lemon basil especially. I mean, it just smells so good.
Your bouquets were really pretty, and they were really fun to do. Like, it was just a fun color palette. So that was,
thank
it was
you.
the best. I think your experience just really lent itself to knowing what would be the best in that season. Which I know you wanted dahlias, but they weren't quite blooming, but we didn't
Right.
really need them.
Right.
It was
Yeah.
fine without.
So those are a few things we thought of that might be helpful if you are planning to grow your own flowers or grow them for someone else, for your daughter, for a friend. Whatever you do, I hope it's successful. And I just hope you live happily ever after.
I do too. I also want to say something. Was our wedding on the 22nd or the 27th?
I think
I
it
was
was
the
27th.
I get confused because we got married in 22, so it's a lot of twos.
Oh,
in the
yeah,
whole equation.
right. I don't know how to end it.
Okay. We'll just go off in the
So,
distance.
okay, all right.